I know we've been away for a bit. Apologies for that, but we're planning some really interesting, some really entertaining content for you guys. So please bear with us and stay tuned for that. So anyway, one of India's biggest football agents decided to sort of agree and come on the show for an interview. This agent has had a super interesting journey, and his story is something that all of us can learn from, especially the people who want to sort of get into the business side of the sport, who want to become football agents, who want to work on the professional side of football, not as professional footballers, but in the back end of things. This individual works at Inventive Sports, like I mentioned, and he represents the biggest upcoming talent in Indian football, Sahal Abdul Samad. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the show for the first time, Wilbur Lasrado. Welcome to the show, Wilbur.
Pleasure. Thanks a lot, Kush.
How are you? Are you logging in from Mumbai?
Yes, from Mumbai, my home.
Oh, okay, nice. I was under the impression that you work from the UK.
No, I'm actually Mumbai based. Baljeet is based out in the UK.
Okay,
We have Shaquille, who's based in Kerala, and we all three collaborate together, and we work together for
okay.
all our Indian and international players.
So it's the three of you managing Inventive Sports, your agency.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. So before you joined Baljeet, was it just Baljeet who was managing Inventive Sports, or did Inventive Sports come to life after you guys started collaborating?
Uh, no, basically, Baljeet was one who started off this company along with Josh, who's the director. And, they're both based out in the UK. And initially, when they started off, they started off with, advising companies, doing a lot of stuff, with regards to awards and functions, grassroots and stuff like that
Yeah.
back in the UK. So then, soon later, things picked up. They emerged with their contacts. It went to another level, and that's when Baljeet felt, we need to get onto a different stage.
Okay.
That's when Baljeet actually completed his agents. He completed his license,
Okay.
and he did it through the hard way. Okay, by giving the examinations.
Wow.
In today's day, that's been scrapped off. Okay, but Baljeet did that, and then after that, started working and representing a few international players.
Okay.
Also started off with Amar Vidi, who plays for Surrey. Soon late, moving on, he was the first to place a couple of players in the Indian Super League season one.
Okay.
Michael Chopra, then after there on was Steve Coppell, Lee started off only with internationals, and being from an Indian background, he himself wanted to do something in terms of Indian football, contribute towards the development of Indian football, and I was very fortunate enough, I can say, very lucky that through my contacts, through networking, etc., that I came in touch with Baljeet.
Okay.
We spoke a lot. We met, discussed a lot of things on how we could take this business, we could take this work to another level.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that could add value.
Yeah.
And fortunate enough, had the opportunity, and today is where I am here in the sports. So it's on God's grace, I can say.
That's great, man.
But very grateful, very grateful.
That's insane. So, I mean, of course, you're an agent now, but how did this how does this whole thing start? Like, did you start off knowing that you wanted to become a football agent, or did it just happen to be an opportunity that you pounced on?
To be very honest, I myself, have started off playing football right from my school days. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and football has been, in the blood. Okay, it's a game that was, even more than passion for me. It is something that always gave me happiness. It always gave me peace, and something, that was very close to my heart. Okay,
Same for me,
so
bro.
obviously
Same for me.
I was pursuing. Nice to know. So I was obviously pursuing, playing football, play a lot of private tournaments, a lot
Okay.
of five-a-sides, and playing for college, schools, etc.
Okay.
But I to be very honest, I wasn't that too skillful player. I was more of an old school kind of player
Okay.
who worked very hard. Okay, but when it comes, even at times I used to work this hard that I used to compensate enough for my skill.
Yeah.
So, but given the situation, the way football was moving back then, okay, I didn't see, a
A sort
scope
of
where I could
future. Yeah.
actually pick up, because at the same time I could see there were more better and skillful players, and even those players were struggling, to make it big.
To become
Um,
professionals. Yeah.
exactly. And then, coming from a very humble background, humble family background, had a lot of things to look after, a lot of, things to give importance to. And for that reason, which I felt, after completing my studies, etc., need to take up a job. And it wasn't possible, to completely focus and, do everything into football. Um, yes, things worked out the right way. I always wanted to do something that I love, and I always wanted to follow my passion, and touch wood, so
Things worked
fortunate
out.
enough,
Yeah.
things worked out the right way, right time, the right people came in, and, the rest is, I can say, is history. We've come a long way.
That's a really fun story when you just manage to sort of build a career around a sport that you love or just any hobby that you love. So that's really interesting. So how did you come to meet Baljit Rihal?
Yes, so basically what happened is Bijit was down, for the ISL drafts season 4.
Yeah.
And that's when, he came to India, for just about 36 hours. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, we had back then I was not associated with the company,
Okay.
and the purpose of him coming for 36 hours was with one of our clients. He knew he came in there, because we had a couple of offers. What he thought is, coming down to India in the drafts, meeting a couple of people, speaking to them face to face, and we could maybe end up with a proper offer, a decent offer. And we conclude it right then. So Bajit came in over there, and obviously I heard about it. After the drafts, I said, this is the guy that he's doing some big things, he's doing some great things that maybe I need to pick on. I need to be with the right person. uh, I need to be in the right direction to
Yeah.
do the right thing,
Yeah.
because you always say, when you're following something, you need to have the right mentor.
Yeah.
You need to be under the right consultation, otherwise things could go in a mess for you.
Definitely.
And I was very fortunate enough that I spoke to him, and it was a very fruitful conversation. We just kept building from there, and things really worked out very well. And eventually, we decided to come together, collaborate together, and yeah, this is where we are.
That's great. You guys hit it off right in the first meeting, I'm assuming.
Yes, actually, the connect that was there, I will be very honest, really got some, good positive vibes from him. He's a very honest and, trustworthy person,
Okay.
very easy to work with, very, you know, as in I said, very easy to work with. There's no, you won't have that gap between, in gap in terms of communication or something.
Yeah.
Straightforward, straightforward, and that's how I prefer to keep it. Rather than going in circles, just
Circles,
keep it
yeah.
right
Just
there.
get to
Keep
the
it very
point.
simple.
Yeah.
Get to the point. Keep it very simple, and that's the way forward.
That's great. So, guys, just sort of an aside. Baljit and Wilbur, they manage two of the biggest Indian internationals. Not manage, represent. Um, Sahal Abdul Samad and Jobby Justin. So, just sort of an aside, a fun fact for you guys. So, just building off of that, were you able to work with Sahal and Jobby Justin right from the get go, or did you guys sort of get them on board later?
Yes, so I'll tell you how it happened. Okay, once I joined Vijit, like we came together, just in a matter of a few days or a couple of weeks, we had Shaquille join us. Okay,
Okay.
and obviously Shaquille has been an integral part of Kerala football. Okay,
Yeah.
he's been one of the big names out there,
Yeah.
who's worked with a lot of prominent names, etc. So we were fortunate enough to have him join us, and he came in, and with that Sahal Abdul Samad, you know, came in, and there was Jobby Justin, there was Ubaid, there was quite a few other
Yeah.
players, Bashur, that joined in. Um, Sahal, I don't know what to say. There at once upon a there was no one who believed in him.
Yeah,
There was no one who wanted to pick on that kid. But it just Shaquille once upon a time just said, that I see that there is something in this kid, and this kid will do something big if he's given the right platform. Okay, if he's kept in the right, with the right mindset, with the right mentality, and he just focuses on what he's doing, he will do big. And that's what Vijay straight away said to him, and even I advised him the very same thing. If you think that's what the kid has in him, since you know him more than professionally, you know him personally, please, go ahead and take a decision for yourself. And at Inventive Sports, one thing is, we don't work for each other. Okay, we work with each other. So that is the best thing I would say. That is something that thrills me and keeps me on my toes. And that's when Sahal came in. That's when we started working for Sahal. He started off with the reserve team. He had a very good second division campaign, was called up to the senior team, and had a wonderful preseason. And the rest is history, I can say.
for
Had
sure.
17 games in the ISL that season, made his India under 23 debut,
Yeah,
made his senior team debut, won the Hero ISL Emerging Player. Then after that, won the AIFF Emerging Player. Thereafter, the Fans Player Award.
yeah.
Man, that's
That's a
marvelous.
huge
Okay,
that's a huge growth.
it was a huge growth. And yes, after that, he had decent average season. But that guy, even if you see him right now on social media, I talk to him like every other day.
Yeah,
We have a conversations, a chats, a calls. He is so focused. He is so focused, and I am so glad, touchwood, that that guy has his head in place.
yeah.
Even after last year wasn't a season to remember, but we're pretty much decent happy about he had his own highs, he
Yeah,
had his own lows, but he's stayed with it. Okay,
he's not
he's
let that sort
not
of
not
get to
given up.
him. Yeah, he's not let that get to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shows you the sort
Not
of
not
mentality he has.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, you say that monster mentality, a
yeah.
strong mind, kind of, and that is one of the best things I like about him. And that is something that, I always pass on as an example to the other players as well.
Okay.
Even after not having a great a season to remember, that kid is still focused. He knows what he is doing. He knows how he needs to be doing. Just doesn't, knows how to deal with his criticism.
Yeah.
And that's the only way forward. Okay, because if something hits you, you can't give up. You can't sit down there. You got to pick yourself up. You got to be strong enough, and you got to keep moving forward. That's the only way forward, is what I feel.
For sure.
And that kid is just bulletproof, I can say.
That's insane. So, sort of taking a step back, like you said, you didn't sort of see that sort of scope in becoming a professional football player when you used to play. And again, I not that I follow, too many football agents. The two big ones I know would be Mino Raiola and, of course, Jorge Mendes. So, was it sort of a bold move in terms of pursuing becoming an agent in a sport that wasn't as popular and has just started recently becoming more popular?
So basically, when I decided, this thought, it just came up my mind. Okay, when this thing just came, I read somewhere in the papers or something, and no, I was once scrolling through Twitter or something, and I just read about some agent and things like that. I don't even remember which agent I read of, and this thought just came into my mind. Obviously, I was nothing back then, and I was very good friends with Steven. I've always maintained, a very good relation and a very good rapport with all of these players. Okay, that's that's how I am. For me, relations are very important. Yes, and I started knowing Steven personally, Steven Dias. Okay, personally, everyone might know him, a legend for sure. You know, uh, I started knowing Steven personally, back after his stint with Delhi Dynamos. Towards 2015-16. That's when got to personally know him more. We built on a friendship, started talking and things towards his days with Mumbai FC and things like that. And when this, idea came to my mind, he was the first person I spoke to. Okay, he was the first person and the only person I spoke to, and I just asked him, Stephen, this is what I have in mind, and the reason I'm asking you is the reason I personally asked him is, because he's been in the industry, he's been in the system, in the Indian football circuit, for having a career of around more than 21 years of professional football, having won every trophy out there. And me having a good rapport and a good relation with him, I thought, it would be best for him to speak and let me know, and advise me and guide me wherever. And Steven said, all he said to me is, Wilbur, this is a very tough industry to live in. Okay, it's not an easy industry. You got to be extremely honest in this industry. Okay, because there are times things could backfire if you're not honest enough, and you need to make sure that you're working for the player, you're doing your 100% for the player, you're respecting them in their good days and in their bad days. And this is something that always was close to my heart. Okay, his piece of advice was always close to my. All I personally thought, was I will take this piece of advice. I will take all the good that he's given me. Okay, and someday in the future, this will help me because this is coming out from a very prominent guy. This will help me grow and build on. Okay, and this someday, I may represent a player or two like him, of his level, of his stature.
I'm
This
sure
was
you
only
guys
in my
will.
mind. And tables turn, things change. I I made some good moves, good decisions in life, and today I can proudly say that Inventive Sports, we along with Inventive Sports represent Stephen Dice,
Yeah.
and we've just recently facilitated his deal to Odisha FC as the Indian assistant coach. So that itself, is a feeling of pride. Okay, because he was the first person whom I did speak to. He was someone who's very influential,
Yeah.
in getting me to the right direction or the right path. Had he not told me those things, maybe I would have not understood. Maybe it would have not kicked me back then.
Yeah.
Okay, but he just gave me those piece of advice. All he said, Wilbur, I know you're passionate. I know you're good. I know you'll do well. But just these are the few things, these are the few things that you need to really keep in mind. You need to be very cautious about,
Yeah.
and that's the way forward. So at times, you need someone to just push
Guide
you in the
you.
right
Yeah.
direction and guide.
100%.
And Steven was the one who did that for me back then. And after that, got in touch. Baljeet, everything happened. And there was just no
Everything just
no
sort of
looking back.
came together. Yeah.
Everything came together, yes, and there was no turning back. Just went in the right direction, and touch wood, everything's been so great. The journey has been just fantastic. Every day, I continue to learn, I continue to grow along with the others, and that's the best feeling about your job.
I'm sure it's it sounds really interesting. Just getting to not, I won't say deal, but sort of getting to work with clubs, getting to work with players, just learning more and more about how the industry works. But one thing that I'm sort of curious about is, so I might be wrong about the player's name, but I think it was Jobby Justin who you guys sort of helped transfer from East Bengal to ATK, right? So
Yes.
what I wanted to know is how different is it working with an ISL club versus working with an I League club?
So much of a difference, See, East Bengal is a very big club with a big
Yeah,
legacy, and with a big history. At the
yeah,
same time, ATK on the other side, um, ATK on the other side, having won right now won 3 ISL trophies.
yeah,
Fortunately, Jobby was a part of their recent title-winning campaign.
yeah.
Um, it's not much of a difference. But, it's just that the I League team at times, they come with a lower budget. The ISL team have a higher budget,
Okay,
and for us at that point of time, when Joby was back with East Bengal, he had a very good season. I think 9 goals, 4 assists, scored in both the derbies against Monbagan,
wow,
and those were not small goals. Those were some massive big goals that he
wow.
scored. One was an overhead
Overhead
kick,
kick. I think you've
and
mentioned that in one of your previous interviews. The overhead
yes,
kick.
and
Yeah,
trust me, I can tell you this, hands on heart. Uh, Jobby's goal. If you watch that video, personally, if I watch that video, okay, I get goosebumps. That because you have like 75 to 80,000 fans,
just
okay, and
screaming.
you screaming for you,
Wow.
and you do something that will just go down, in the books, in the history books, okay,
Sure.
for the rest of
Yeah.
his life. And the thing with Jobby was, he at that point of time, yes, he did well, and we had a couple of offers that were there. We were just trying to evaluate and see, which one's better for Jobby, not just in terms of money, also in terms of game time, etc. as such. East Bengal, were in talks with us at the same time. But at the same time, uh, the offer from Calcutta, I mean ATK was back then ATK, now it's
Yeah.
ATK Mohun Bagan. Was just too good, and the prospect, the project did interest him a lot. At the same time, East Bengal, didn't place an offer at that very time where we actually had to make a decision. We're just trying to evaluate and see, what's best for the player. We spoke to the player, we seen, what he actually thinks and what he actually wants,
Yeah.
and we came to an amicable solution. We came to, a decision, and where he decided he wanted to go ahead with 80K,
80K.
and yes, and that was his call. And we just made, just advised him the right thing, because obviously there's going to be good, bad, and he has to deal with it.
Okay.
He has to be strong enough, and
Yeah.
he has to be dealing with it. He has to be fighting for his place. He has to be working extremely hard. And yes, the kid has proved himself. He did well.
Definitely.
He had one goal, an assist, and I think right now he's more hungry. And this season is going to be even better for him. Okay, given that they've even signed Manveer, and they've signed they have David Williams, Roy
Yeah.
Krishna up front. I'm sure, Jobby's not letting this go. He's gonna fight it out. Okay, he's a fighter. Okay, I can say that to you, not by just by his stature or something. I can say that to you with the mentality again he has, the mindset that he has. He's not someone who's gonna let it go. Like if it's not happening, it's not happening. No,
Yeah.
he's someone who will fight till the last gasp. Okay, till his last breath, and he will go all out. So, wishing luck to Joby. Wishing luck to us as well.
We're
Just
all
hope he has
wishing
a
him
wonderful,
luck.
wonderful season.
And
Just hope he has a wonderful season, and
yeah,
rest is history.
I think with the sort of mentality he has and the way you're describing him, I'm sure he's gonna do well this season. But that sort of brings me to my next point as well. The way you describe your players, it sort of shows that you aren't just an agent to them, but you guys also, like you said, you work with each other. You guys are close, and you also said that Inventive has sort of this smaller pool of players. You guys sort of like to work personally with each of them.
Okay.
So, do you guys think that's sort of a disadvantage when it comes to the rate at which ISL is becoming popular, more players are coming through? So, does that mean that you guys are leaving more players, or how does it work for you guys?
So see, for me, if I am working with a player, I just want to make sure that me and my player both on the same page. Okay. Second thing is, we are striving to achieve the same goal together. That's when the job is much easier.
Yeah,
Like tomorrow, if a player is aiming this way and I am aiming this way, we are aiming in this direction. It's two opposites. It's going to be very difficult working. We need to be somewhere close. We need to be somewhere in between.
yeah,
So for me, it's not just with me. With Inventive Sports, we have our vision is, to just work around the player, work with limited players, but ensure that we are giving 360 to them,
okay,
like everything to them, okay? That be it,
100%.
when it comes to 100%, be it in their good days, bad days, okay? If in case, they're doing well, they're not doing well, still be there with them.
Yeah,
Even if, even if in case, they are out of form, maybe just speak to them, have a word with them, see what's going wrong, try and fix something.
yeah,
If something's not gone wrong, maybe there are some issues between them and the club, iron things out over there for them. Apart from that, also look after them, on the personal level.
yeah,
Okay, personal
yeah,
level, when I say, not just their sponsorships, their endorsements, also, when maybe they're planning for a holiday, maybe, looking at their finance bits, giving them small pieces of advice on, uh, where to do what and how to do what, maybe just a few advices. At times, I even put my time in, to help my boys, at times to work on their finances. Now, obviously, there are some players that are blessed, fortunate enough, that are earning young enough and are earning very good salaries. Okay, but at the same time, if they are young and they don't realize, that they need to start saving for the future,
yeah,
because a footballer, a sportsman life, is very short-lived. Okay, a
definitely.
player might end up playing, until 30, 35, 30, 36.
Goes by in a
Depends
flash. Yeah,
on it goes by in a flash. Your seasons go quickly, 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 and you don't understand. At times your graph is high, your graph is
yeah,
low. You're picking up money. You're understanding. So, it's for me. I've been instilled with those little bit of qualities. From my home, like my mom, etc. even if you have little, you just ensure you try to save a little
Yeah.
for your future. Okay, and that's some good practice, which I think, and that's something that I even tell my boys. Okay, be it even if it is 5 grand or it's 10 grand, irrespective.
Save it.
Whatever you
Yeah.
can, you start doing. You start doing. Times I even advise the boys, with terms of the shopping. They're trying to do something, buying stuff or maybe planning things out. You know, I'm always very happy to just give them suggestions or maybe tell them, this will look good on you or this will look good on you. You know, I always keep doing that.
That's good.
So I have a very personal and a close
Yeah.
relation with the boys, and that's the best thing for me, because none of them treat me like an agent sort of person. It's always like a brotherly relation
Yeah.
that we have. They reciprocate, they respect well, I respect. Respect is mutual, and that's the best thing I can say. So the feeling
That's
is
great.
really good
That's great.
between two.
So you mentioned early on something about endorsements. The players, you help them with endorsements and everything as well. So I mean, Sahal recently featured on Puma's global page, and City and Aguero commented on. So I mean, just those sort of endorsements with them, picking up not just with Sahal but with a lot of footballers in the country. Do you think that's a good sign?
Absolutely, it's not just for Indian football; it's also for us as an agency. It is a statement. Uh, there was no player that was featured on a global handle like this. Brand's global handle, a footballer,
Yeah.
who was featured on a global handle like this before, and it was. I personally never believed, that he would feature alongside, Sergio Aguero or Lukaku or all these players. But that itself is a statement. That itself is showing, that Indian football is going up, not just from where it was. And it's very, it's a matter of pride for us also as an agency for the work that we have put in. Because let me tell you, getting Sahal, to sign with Puma was not an overnight dream. Okay, it took us around about 7 to 8 months of negotiation, discussing, meeting across cities, etc. And it was no easy task. It was no easy task. Just traveling between different cities, speaking to different people. Because at the end of the day, we wanted to know we wanted to have the best for Sahal. We wanted not just for Sahal, be it any player that I am working with. If I am talking for my player, I want the best for my player. Okay, and that is when I will feel good about myself, and that is when I will have a good night's sleep. I can say after I've done my job satisfactorily well. So yes, there was a lot of negotiation. There was a lot of discussion. There was a lot of we're trying to evaluate and see who values him well, better, and who's going to give him better engagement and help him grow at that level. So that's where it was. Things clicked the right way. It was a matter of patience, persistence, consistency, and I can say Salah's got what he deserves. He's earned it all himself. Uh, but yeah, he's got what he deserves, and there's a lot to come. Just fingers crossed. We just want to keep hustling, doing the right thing. Meanwhile, he's got to focus on playing. He's got to focus on playing his football. Rest his brothers are here, so we're going to look after him. Don't worry.
So now, how does like how does one become a football agent?
Talking about becoming a football agent, firstly, there's no specific education that is actually required, to become a football agent. All it is like, you need to be a little educated between the football circuit, maybe just complete your management degree, have a little bit of media knowledge, just have the right set of contacts, stay humble, hustle hard, uh, have the right players around you, right people, right mentors, and I think you need to also. There's also a process with the AIFF, where you need to just register with them annually, and um, you are officially becoming a football agent. Then you got to just have the right people working with you,
Okay.
right people around you, and it's not difficult. It's how you build on your network, how you
It's
build on your contacts.
it's all about building personal relationships and being good at
Very true,
communication, I guess.
very
That's
true,
what helps
very
you
true,
the most.
very
So
true.
I mean,
So,
personally,
and one more thing is,
yeah,
a football agent, just like how I was just talking this, talking about this, to another friend of mine
yeah,
a few days back. We often say, a journalist is as good as his phone book.
yeah,
Okay. Similarly, a football agent is only as good as how his player is. It's just a reflection game. So yes, that's how it is, and that's the hard truth. You gotta accept it.
That's something I didn't know. I'll definitely note that down somewhere. So in my case, personally, so do you know? I mean, know in the sense. Have you heard of Mesut Ozil's agent, Dr. Erkut?
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes, yes.
I think a couple of years ago, he launched a book about called "How to Become a Football Agent." So
Right.
I think I was in my second year in university at that time. So
Okay.
I was just trying to get my hands on anything that would sort of help me build a career around football. So then I see this book, so I purchase it, and I mean it's a small book, but I mean the end message is ultimately what you said. You should know how to get your foot in the door. You should know the right people,
Right.
and you should be good at communicating. So I mean,
See, because over here, sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
but
yeah,
over
it's
here,
fine.
you are going to be like being a football agent. You're going to be a mediator. You're going to be a mediator between your player,
Yeah,
the club, between yourself, your team, whatever. Okay, so you're going to be relaying information to two or three, more than two parties.
yeah,
Okay, now if there is the slightest of a communication gap, okay, if there is dishonesty, it could all end up in a dirty
yeah,
business, okay? Because you know what, how honesty can, how dishonesty can play and how it can backfire.
yeah,
So, at the end of the day, it's all about honesty. It's about, communication. It has to be very effective. The moment, there is a slightest gap in that piece of communication, the whole statement could change, the whole thing could change,
yeah,
and that's where the problem could arise. So just like you said,
yeah.
communication is one of the most vital part of being an agent.
No, so I'm sort of glad that what that book had is, I mean, it's sort of global in the sense that even you said that those are the key requirements. So I guess I'm a good communicator. So if things at 12 span don't work out, I'll definitely hit you up.
100%. Always see, I'm always there to help. Okay, not just if it's my player, or even if another friend of mine reaches out to me, saying he needs some help, he needs some piece of advice. Always there to help. Because that's how we eventually grow. By helping others
Yeah,
and helping ourselves eventually. That's how I feel.
for sure. It's been a pleasure having you on the show as well. It was a good
Thank,
learning for me personally because I've always wanted to talk to an agent face to face. So this was fun. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Kush. It was indeed a pleasure. Having a wonderful chat with you.
Yeah,
Um, Thank you so much again for your time. And if in case in the future, there's anything I can do, please let me know. I'm always
for
there to
sure,
help. All
for
right.
sure, for sure. Likewise,
Cheers. Have a wonderful.
you too.
Have a
And
wonderful day.
best
Take
of
care.
luck for the upcoming season for all your players.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate that.
All right,
Cheers.
peace.